Hey guys, it's me back with another video. Today I will show you some one-ways for Ascent as Viper. Only one-ways which are useful will be shown. And I will also be telling you how you can use those one-ways specifically and how those one-ways can also have disadvantage. Let's get started. The first thing to know as Viper is obviously those one-ways. One-ways as Viper is quite strong because you can constantly recharge your fuel and then constantly spam the smoke whenever it's necessary without any problem. But one thing to note is that when you're using one-way as a Viper, you should also be able to take your orb back. Taking your orb back is very important because her orb is an insane smoke. It covers a huge distance and can be used constantly. With the recent buff where Viper can constantly use her smoke and then take it up again and then deploy it and use it again, it essentially is very useful to clear corners. You can use it to come over here, smoke away, and then just dash over here, take right side first and then check left and etc. So you need to be able to use one-ways such that you can get them back. Another thing to note is that if you're using one-ways, it becomes predictable if you're constantly using them. So enemies will finally find a way to counter the one-way, like using Sova's recon dart to push you out or nades to push you out and block that. They just find something. So use these one-ways occasionally and keep shifting your spots. Don't stick to one specific strat every round. Let's start off with B side at the first. The B entrance one-way is a quite useful one-way for the defender side. To do this, you need to come towards B main, align yourself horizontally towards the first line across over here and vertically towards the center of this specific brick over here. You will get a point, which is this specific point, and then aim at the top of the lamp and then jump, right click through. It lands perfectly and it's very consistent. One thing that many YouTubers and many people mention is that this smoke should be used with market player. I disagree completely. Yes, well, market players will have an advantage, but the point is, and you need to know that enemies are clever as well. In most high rank games, they pre-fire market or they molly market and smoke it off. So playing market this one way is not good. Some good spots to play with this one-way would be over here towards the switch, which is quite unexpected and quite hard to predict and wallbang and pre-fire and stuff. The corner over here is not the best spot because if they spot you and you use the one-way, they could be towards this side and they could probably be ready to do something to you. So I don't think this is a good spot. You could also play over here, but expect pre-fires and wallbangs towards this side, and CT is also a pretty decent spot. A powerful spot to play this one-way with is lane because this one-way covers the front side of side as well. So anybody trying to push towards lane will have a big disadvantage. So this is a good position to hold. And you can also retrieve the orb. Just jump and constantly click F, and you should be able to get it at some point. Also, another one-way for B side is the attacker side one-way towards CT. It is really good for post-plant situations. To do this lineup, which I had just found a few minutes ago when I was trying to find some new lineups with the new patch, you need to come over here inside B main, line yourself up towards the thing, and then aim, get your orb out and aim such that the right side point over here coincides with the vertical top right corner point of the box. Oh my god, it's so hard to tell. But yeah, you can see that it coincides. And then do a left click through, it should land perfectly, and it's very consistent lineup, so it's really good. If you couple this smoke with this wall, it's a really good way to execute into a site. The CT or your CT is covered, and it's really good execute. The reason it's also good is that usually in order to enter site, Vipers would usually smoke off. Let me just show you.
Poison's off.
What Vipers usually do is they smoke off like this. This denies you information completely from the CT, so anybody in CT could simply be here and play around this area. But with the help of this specific one-way, you can simply block off the right section, which needs to be blocked off, and then play with this two setup. So now you see you have a big advantage over here, and you can also clear cubby and check all the corners properly. Also, why this specific one-way is useful is that if you are in post-plant situation, they will have a disadvantage when pushing into side. As you can see here, you have an advantage over here. When they're trying to push you, they will have a big big disadvantage. Anybody over here as well could all have an advantage to hold push play. Disadvantage, well, there's not many. Expect pre-fires from this side, as well as they will constantly pre-fire you to check if you're behind the one way as a defender. Those are 2 one-ways in B which are quite useful. Let's move on to mid. Mid isn't really a section that I suggest Vipers to play, but in cases, in games where enemies are constantly taking mid control and coming towards market, it's quite useful to know this one way. There are 2 one-ways, one is the aggressive and one is the defensive one way. To do the aggressive one way, which I really don't recommend because you will never get your orb back, you come over here, aim yourself towards the exact points, like so, and then this just aim such that your smoke's pointy edge is right beneath this point but not touching it, and then just do a left click throw. It's a good one way for the guy in short or the girl in short to hold, and it can also be used by you in mid to try and gain some control and probably fight over here. Disadvantage is that enemies can actually see you if they crouch. They can also see if they crouch over here, but you will have the mobility advantage and the peeker advantage, so you should be able to kill enemies who are trying to peek. It's a really good one. But as I said, you will never get a one way back because it's quite high and it's in the enemy territory. The defensive one way, which needs to be used by you in case they are constantly pushing market, is this one. Come towards the edge over here. This one is a bit particularly difficult one. You see this point over here, you need to aim such that the left line is right, it's like exactly touching over here, and this is towards the edge. So it's a bit touching right there. And yeah, again, this is quite a difficult one way to execute, but if you use it correctly, it's really nice. Just do a left click throw as so, and this is a good one way. You can hold from CT nicely. You can also probably try and hold from over here. The best spot to hold would be this angle, because again, this is a huge one way, so you have an advantage. Disadvantage, well, enemies will constantly spam you towards CT, and they'll spam you over here. The first thing they will do, which I think they will do, they'll spam you over here, they'll spam over here, they'll spam over here, they'll spam over here, and they'll constantly keep spamming because of the one way. So they'll see, they'll spam over here. All these common spots they will spam if you're in a high rank. But this is still a good one way if you want to play mind games and gain control and stop them from pushing this area. There are 3 one-way smokes in A that are quite useful, and I highly recommend you guys to use them. One-way smoke is over here. You need to come 3 tiles up, aim over here, anywhere over here really. And it's not a precise one way, so you can like be a bit around and you can do it. That's not a problem. You need to aim somewhere over here, anywhere, and then do a jumping right click through. Okay, jumping right click, not jump. That. And this can be used to hold an angle from generator. Can be used to hold angle from heaven. Both the angles will give you an advantage, but as I said, they will probably pre-fire you over here. The only disadvantage, of course, you cannot hold this angle from here. It's a bit risky position because the one way is not the best for holding this specific angle. If you see over here, you can see. Another disadvantage is that if you're holding generator, not heaven, if you're holding generator, then if you have the contact, you miss the bullet and you're pushed back, they will always have the advantage when you're trying to escape or peek. Also, if you're playing heaven and holding this angle, which is a pretty good way to hold it, and if they're flashing you and pushing you out, gaining a bit control will be difficult given the fact that enemies will be already on the left side and ready to kill you. An aggressive one way which takes time, so you will need your friends or somebody to try and delay enemies, is that just come over here, aim a bit below this vertical imaginary line which is touching this point towards the horizontal, so it's a bit below that. Just like so, and if you do that, it should specifically land on there, and this can be used to gain aggressive A control. Of course, as I said before, it takes time to land, so you will probably first need to pre-molly it and then come over here and do the lineup, or just you'll need to delay enemies from crossing to the right. Otherwise, this one way wouldn't be as effective because they can simply cross away even before you threw it, and then bam, you're caught off guard. This has happened to me once, long time back when I was new to Viper. So if you want to use this one way, you'll have to push them back first. Another one way is towards short. To do this specific one way, you need to align yourself vertically towards the center and then come towards the middle over here. Aim at the top again and do the same right click throw. The line over here. It's a pretty good spot to hold. You can hold from here. Very good spot would be this one as usual because of the dense smoke. Disadvantage, as I said, they will pre-fire you. The only disadvantage of one-way smokes is they will pre-fire you no matter what. In usual cases, they usually just peek, but just because there is a smoke, they will have the incentive and the instinct to pre-fire. So those were some really interesting and useful one-way smokes that are really good to utilize. I really like the CT one especially because the ball can block off the only angle which is important, which is market, rather than blocking off this entire section in order to cross. I really like that. What do you guys think? Which one is your favorite one way? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see you guys next time.